All right, this is Nash here, and today we got the Alamo Bowl preview. This is going to be the Texas Longhorns squaring off versus the University of Washington Huskies. This should be a fun matchup, fun preview. Can't wait to get right into it. So, drop a like on the video if you subscribe to the channel if you like the content, and comment down below your thoughts and your official prediction for the Texas Longhorns. Are we going to win or are we going to lose? Let me know in the comment section. But without further ado, let's hop right into it because I got a lot. All right, basic info we're going to have 8 p.m. December 29th, and this is a Central Time. So if you're Eastern, it's 9 p.m. West Coast, for you weirdos, 6 p.m. I'm just joking. Please don't take it too hard. San Antonio, Texas is going to be in a dome, so the weather does not really matter at all. Could be raining, would be the same. The line is currently a 3-point favorite for Texas. Over, under, they're predicting it going to be a high-scoring game. I tend to agree, but we'll see. Not a huge capacity, but should be fairly leaning on the Texas side as far as the fans go. But heading into the stats, offensive points per game. So you're going to see the Washington, their number's golden. That's because they're a top 10 offense. And so if you're a top 10 category, you get the gold around your number. Well, they edge us out, 39.7 points per game. That's 4 points better per game than Texas. Washington, you're going to see right here, they are a good offense. Offensive yards per game, similar story. They're top 10, a little bit better than Texas. 6.8 to 6.2. Heading over to the offensive third down percentage. Again, top 10 offense. They are one that actually, not just top 10, the best in third down conversion percentage right there. That's number one in the nation. Texas, not so much, 38.7. We gotta bump that stuff up. These are rookie numbers, you know. Offensive red zone conversion percentage. This is where the tide starts to turn. And this is where I think Texas really has a shot versus Washington. But after watching Washington, this number does start to confuse me. And I'll talk about it more when we get to Michael Penix. But 84.5% red zone conversion percentage. So they get to the red zone often, but they're just not converting a ton of it. And then Texas, we are converting a high percentage. We're one of the better teams when it comes to converting points to red zone, converting red zone attempts to points. Now, defensive red zone percentage. Again, we're one of the we're up there. We're not top 10, but we're up there in the defensive red zone percentage. So our defense pairs well in this matchup against Washington, a team that struggles in the red zone. Our team does very well in the red zone. This is PK's philosophy. You're going to hear more from me on this later in the week, later in the month. I'm just going to leave it on that. 75.7 defensive red zone conversion percentage for Washington. I mean, it's not a far cry from what Texas is, but it is a slight difference. Defensive third down percentage, 39.9. We're again we're not amazing, but still, these are improvements that you'd like to see with the Texas defense, and we've seen it so far. Yards per game. You're seeing this is going to be a good battle. Washington, the offensive team, versus Texas, the defensive team. Now, yes, a few of these categories, it's just like trading, hairs, but you could say the same for Texas on the offense. Now, let's head right into the player cards and see who are the players that we want to watch. And on Texas, where else can you start? It's too obvious. Quinn Ewers. He has just struggled so mightily this year, and it doesn't matter where you're talking about, if it's a deep ball, wherever. He's really kind of struggled with it. And he has been a little bit better on the intermediate passes, so I don't want to say wherever. But 56.6% completion percentage is just not good. 200, barely scratching the 200 passing yards per game. I mean, a guy like Quinn Ewers, this was the exact opposite of what we thought we were going to see. Just like our rush defense is the exact opposite of what we thought we were going to see. Like, this rush defense made huge, massive strides of improvement over the year. And not even the year, over the offseason. And like we saw from Casey Thompson in 2022 or 2020 versus Colorado, that gave him so much steam going into the 2021 season. I speak from experience when I say, like, that was one of the best videos that I've ever had, and still is one of my, it's probably, I think it actually is my best performing video I've ever had on this channel. And it just goes to show how much just that little bit of hope can drive people, and especially a fan base. And if you want a further proof of that, one of my second most watched videos on this channel is Casey Thompson's first game at Nebraska. So that, even if it was people wanting him to fail, which that's not what it is over here when I was putting that video up, he needs this game. And especially his job not being safe for 2023 when Steve Sarkisian said that. Now I am curious to see how actions speak louder than words. If Quinn Ewers is struggling and this is almost like a job audition, how soon do we see a Malik Murphy? That's just my thought. A little thought burning in the back of my head. Heading over to the next player to watch. Going to have two defenders coming up. A little spoiler. Maurice Blackwell to start out. Woo! I like this guy. The energy, he had that the spring game. He goes and he wallops Xavier Worthy, and it was just like, okay, he's not afraid to go hit one of the star guys. Only 60 snaps though in 2022 so far, so we'll have to see. He's very, very inexperienced. You got to remember that. So if he makes a mistake, and if he for best case scenario, he goes out there, balls out, and it's like, oh my gosh, why hasn't this guy been on the field? But still, a very good scenario that we have with Maurice Blackwell is if he goes out there and he just has a great game for 75% of the game, but just there's a few boneheaded mistakes here and there, I'll take that. I'll take that all year long. Give me something positive, tangible, that we can carry over to next year, especially for this guy. But 65% of those 60 snaps, all in the last 4 games. He had 0 snaps versus TCU. So really, in 3 of those 4 games, 65% of the snaps that he's had all year. Can he fill the DMO role? He's a former safety, spinning him down to linebacker. Similar path to the playing time. Now, next guy up, Barron Sorrell. This guy, he has a chance. And what I mean by that is you're going to see in the fun fact page that I got coming up right after this. He's so far, I'm not saying he's better than Joseph Osai, because Joseph Osai was used out of position pretty much. But he's not a bum. Like, this is more than a decent pass rusher for Texas. And if we can get better pass rushers coming in with this next 2023 class, I'm all for it. Sign me up. He will be tested against a solid offensive line. He has not had a single missed tackle in the last 3 games. But can he? We have not had a multi-sack game since Joseph Osai, and you're going to see, got some fun facts coming up. Let's show them right now. The last 2-sack game, Joseph Osai in 2020. The last 3-sack game, Charles Omenihu in 2018. Shout out Charles Omenihu, balling out for the 49ers right now. The last 4-sack game, Alex Okafor in 2012. Osai's season-high sack number was 5. Sorrell's already got 5.5 so far. Omenihu's season-high sack number, 9.5 in 2018. The last double-digit finish we've had was 2013 with Jackson Jeffcoat with 13 sacks and Cedric Reed with 10. Sorrell has a chance. Now, I'm not saying he's going to go out there and get a 4-sack game or something like that. But he has a chance to, if he can go out there and have a solid game, and I'm not saying he's even going to go out there and get a multi-sack game. It's just a storyline that I'm kind of tracking. I was like, it was kind of cool. because he has been a guy that's been getting pressure. And like similar to Quinn Ewers, if he can have that game where he just gets a lot of hype rolling, that would do wonders for him, and I'd be a big fan. And if you know me, if you know Nash, you know my next one. I'm throwing them up right now. If you were in Kieran's live stream last night, the Take a Sip, shout out Kieran. Go watch that every single Tuesday. You already know who's coming up. That's my boy. I'm so happy. Oh my goodness. Y'all don't I'm having to control myself right now, but whew, I literally almost typed him for this because I feel like why do I even need to throw the stats up there? The vision, transcendental. Thank you for getting that right, Kieran. 74.22% of yards after first contact. 22.2% of runs, 10 plus yards. 7.2% yards per attempt. The question is, can he do this with a lead role? And I think you already know what I'm thinking the answer is. I'm so pumped for this guy. I cannot wait for him to go out there and ball out. Small town Hallettsville product. Jonathan Brooks, huge fan. Rooting for the guy. Now, this is not to say I'm not a Keelan Robinson fan. I've been if you've been following my channel, you know I'm a big fan of some of these other running backs. I warn you right now. Be careful. Steve Sarkisian will disappoint you when you start asking for Keelan Robinson. When it goes to a time where there's like, okay, Keelan Robinson has to get touches right here. I warn you, don't fall for that trap. I'm not falling for the banana in the tailpipe again. Sad to say, but is what it is. Jonathan Brooks all the way. Now heading over to the players to watch for Washington. We don't just do Texas players now. We do both people or both teams. Michael Penix Jr. Woo. This guy, and I don't know if it's Penix or whatever, however you pronounce it. We'll just call it Penix to avoid any possible word slips. 14-1 ratio of touchdowns to interceptions on 20-plus yard throws. This guy is it's as advertised. He is lethal on the 20-plus yard throws. And that's not to just say he's out there throwing 9 routes or streak routes or just routes that are going straight down the field, go route, whatever you want to call it. He finds guys that are open. And I mean, that's the thing with these guys. They're not. You'll see the contested catches. They're not great in contested catch, but they have to be getting open to have the numbers that they do. You'll see in a second. But only 7 turnover-worthy throws. This guy is deadly targeting the out routes. And I mentioned I was going to talk about something with him with the red zone percentage. I don't get this. I don't get this number, why it's so low. That number should be a lot higher. I feel like they have at times taken the ball out of his hands. And if you're asking this guy to run the football, especially against Tech, no. Do not. Ask him to pass the ball because that's what he's so good at. That's what he's so lethal at. That number should be higher. Me, who has some Washington friends, I felt pain for them a little bit watching some of these games, doing the study. Now, Rome Odunze. I think I said that last name right. Woo. One of 2 100 target, 1,000-yard receivers. Now, he's only 3 of 12 in the contested catch and only 9 missed tackles forced. But make no mistake, this dude, he gets open and he is a stud and he is smart. Very smart football player. There's multiple times that I came away, I was like, wow. And I'm not claiming to be a football nerd or anything like that, knowing a deep level of football. I just know that dude is smart. He does the little things right. And it's the little thing. It's like a ball on the ground. Immediately is going to hop on it. Without a doubt. I would bet you my bottom dollar. If the ball drops on the ground near him, whether whistle's blown or not, he's dropping on it. just in case. And it's just, that's the type of stuff that you need. Jalen McMillan. I mean, this duo. Here's the other part. I wanted to do 2 defenders. Could not. Had to include him. The same 1,000-yard, 100-target receivers. He is a little bit better in the contested catch numbers. A little bit better in the missed tackles forced. He is your heavy slot usage, like upwards of 92% usage in the slot. This guy, I mean, these 2 dudes are easily Penix's favorite targets to go to. 100%. And on the defensive side, player to watch, Braylon Trice, number 8. Fitting that he's got 8 sacks in 2022 so far, a 91.4 pass rush grade via PFF. He only has 2 years in Division I, and I believe he was draft eligible. Just announced he was going to be returning for 2023. The knock on him, and I'm just like, so it's similar to, I also want to make this clear. I'm not saying these guys are, I'm not trying to put up the contested catch numbers and say, oh, the missed tackles, and say they're bad. I'm trying to find a weak point that maybe Texas might be able to have a chance to exposing on these guys. Jonathan Brooks, I am very interested to see how this guy missing tackles does versus Jonathan Brooks. Because Jonathan Brooks is a guy that if you've done your homework and you know already, he will make you miss. And he'll do it in a very, very entertaining fashion for Texas fans. Now, here's my prediction. Like I said, I do these when sometimes my thoughts change. My thoughts aren't changing too much with this. If you were in there like I said, I was in Kieran's live stream last night. If you were in there, I was saying we're blowing them out. Are we? I don't know. I think they're going to get down to the red zone a lot, and I just think it's just going to come down to whether or not this, in some areas, young, inexperienced defense can hold the Washington Huskies. I was sitting there saying, we're gonna force Penix to make a mistake. That dude is every single bit as advertised. He is going to be a problem for Texas, and we need Quinn Ewers or Malik Murphy. We need somebody on this offense to step up, whether it's Jonathan Brooks, Malik Murphy, Quinn Ewers. It would be nice to see Quinn Ewers just go out there, ball out, leave no questions on the table, because as they say at the University of Texas, the most popular quarterback is the backup. All right, everybody. Hope you all have a great day. Hook 'em.